Welcome everyone to what is hopefully going to be the start of something very special. This is episode 1 of the Canary Guys podcast. My name is Chris, better known as Sexy Signs on Twitter, and I'm known for some pyramid-based antics, as I'm sure you're aware. I'm joined by my two co-hosts, who I'm sure need no introduction, but I'm going to let them speak for themselves.
Hi, I'm Robbie, also known as Jeffman98. I am best known for my addiction to sausage rolls.
I'm Ashton Brownie, and I'm probably best known for my Amanka Forsen addiction and love for him.
Thanks for that, boys. We have a lot to get into on this podcast. We want to talk about the lighter side of Norwich and hopefully cheer everyone up a bit, because after Tuesday's performance, boy, do we need it, right, lads?
Definitely.
Let's start with Tuesday's performance in our 1-0 defeat to Preston. It was absolutely shocking, if we're honest. Lacklustre, bit lethargic. No one really seemed to be putting anything in. There were a few players on the pitch who you can maybe single out as, you know, some bright points, but really poor. And to be honest, Preston did a number on us.
Yeah, very, very poor, especially at home. Like, you can't have performance like that at home. It's just really flat, and it's not like this is the first time it's happened this season at all. Like, there's periods where we go flat. Is it lack of players? Is it tiredness in the whole squad? Like, they train quite hard under Johannes' system, but it just wasn't a good performance at all.
Yeah, it was concerning. Like, any team that defends, we don't seem to do well against. So hopefully we can get a plan B in, because otherwise we're going to be a bit stuck.
Yeah, it's two games in a row now, really. If you look at both the Derby performance and then the Preston performance as well, it was very, very similar kind of undertones, although the results were different. And to be honest, at the start of the Derby game, we were a lot better. But we sit back, we coast, we're too slow on the ball. Not against build-up play from the back, but you've got to be doing something with it, and we aren't. We're side to side, side to side, side to side, and then the worrying thing that crept in against Preston, the old get it long, but they actually appeared to listen to the old men in the crowd with the Bovril and the blankets for once, because they were punting it long every 6 seconds, and it was doing my head in. I don't know if anyone has told Callum Doyle or Shane Duffy that they can pass on the floor.
Canary?
It's incredible news, I know. But yeah, they seem to have forgotten that we like to play out from the back and not completely skip the midfield. But worrying signs, and then you end up at the end of the game with Duffy up front.
Yeah, I know. And I think it's harsh on midfield. Obviously, Kenny coming out last minute, Jacob Wright coming in to that. Was it a good performance from Wright on his debut, starting debut even? It was patches, and you expect that in the situation he's been put in. It wasn't fair on him, especially a player his age and a player who we definitely can see play for Norwich in the future after Kenny's retirement, when he leaves the club, whatever it is ending at Norwich.
Yeah, it's unfair to write him off after one game.
100%. Let alone when he's not in that circumstance.
Yeah, exactly that. You can't write him off after one game. He's been thrown in at the deep end. He looked really shaky for the first 20 minutes of the game or so. He made a couple of really sloppy errors, but it's stuff that is going to happen when you're unprepared and you're not ready for that to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And then, he grew into the game a bit. He made a few nice passes, few defensive actions, bits that you needed to see. So I think he will get there. It's going to take time. But yeah, when you're thrust into the deep end like that, and Kenny's such a big player, that's ridiculous shoes to fill.
And 10 minutes before the match starts as well. That's even worse.
Absolutely.
To be fair, one thing I did like about Wright is he just slid in. Like, I think that's something Norwich lacked a lot. It was like 4 or 5 men around one player, around Preston players, and they've just got out with it. Wright just slid in at times, and I think we missed that a lot. And I think Kenny did that very well with himself.
Yeah, I think Norwich as a team are quite prone to not sticking a foot in when they probably should. And that tends to be a theme throughout watching us in games. Like, we'll let a player drift inside, and obviously we try and mark him and shepherd him out or whatever, but sometimes you just need to stick a foot in and win the ball.
100%. If it's 1-on-1, you can definitely make an argument for that, and I get that. Yeah, you don't want to go 2 and give them the space. I understand that.
Mm-hmm.
But when there's 4 or 5 of you, even 3 of you, maybe an argument for 2 of you, you've got to put a foot in.
Yeah, absolutely.
And preferably not a foot in the head, a la Stacey at Derby. But oh well.
Yeah.
Or a foot in a fibula, unlike a certain Irish centre half.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm biased, right? But I like to see the passion. I like to see a bit of aggression. Probably don't break his leg, but Shane, good on you. Good effort. Please
But
don't do
please
that
don't
again.
put
Don't get
out that
sent
like
off.
again because we don't want another FA ban. Thank you. Shane.
Yeah, let's not get anyone banned. Let's not get anyone suspended, because the FA haters, as we know, and as we know by the performance of a certain Mr. Gavin Ward, the referee for the Preston game, has there, in your time watching, ever been a worse refereeing performance at Carrow Road?
No, I
Not
can't
to
say
that
so.
level.
I genuinely don't think I've seen anything like it in my life. And while, yes, you cannot blame the result on the referee, because we were shit, for lack of a better word, we were poor.
Yeah,
But that ref, how is he professionally qualified? Like, how are you actually a referee?
it is bad. And I saw a TikTok today, and I couldn't agree more. It's just like referees are now at a point where they'll do anything to prove they've got power. Like, you have got power. Don't prove it by doing a silly decision.
Yeah, but it appears to be proven he's got power for Preston.
Yeah, I
I
know.
mean, the only decision, as we discussed, is that Duffy one that went for us, really, where we got away with one. But every other time it was our player goes down, no free kick given. Preston player goes down, immediately blows up.
In the exact same way as well.
Yeah. So yeah, to me, that is one of the most disgraceful refereeing performances I've ever seen. And as I say, it's probably the worst at Carrow Road that I've seen. And there have been some shocking refs
It does
in
make you
my
think,
time.
though, like, let's say a good Norwich team turned up the other night with that referee. Do we get a point? Maybe. It's just really. It is concerning. I know people are going to say, oh, you're blaming it on result, but let's say we turn up there, it could have really done us in.
Yeah, because it affects the flow of the game at the end of the day. It affects the way they play. It breaks things up. You can't keep going as much. So, while yes, you can't blame the result on the ref, because at the end of the day we should have been better, he's definitely had an effect on the game.
Yeah, definitely.
100%. And Johannes is all about rhythm, and we never got that rhythm. Is some of it the referee's fault? Yes, not a majority of it, though, in my opinion. I think we were just that poor.
Yeah, absolutely. Another thing I'd quite like to move on to as well is obviously the Preston goal. It was a bit of a comedy of errors, but the last error was, of course, Angus Gunn. And honestly, he seems to get worse every week. I've seen a lot of sort of unrest with Angus Gunn on Twitter and on social media with people wanting him out. And I was backing him for weeks on end because I think there's a good keeper in there, but his stats are just shocking this season. It's the worst I've seen him in any of his seasons at Norwich, and it makes you wonder. They've not extended his contract. There seems to be no talks going on. Does he deserve a contract extension?
I mean, not as much as George Long, quite obviously, because that was a 3-year deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Although George Long honestly is like a wet paper bag. There's no fucking point in him being in goal.
I
So
even think that's generous.
yeah, wet paper bag would probably stop more, to be honest. So yeah, but I still think there might be. The problem is, I think there's a goalkeeper in there still, but
Yeah,
100%. You
is
don't, you
his
don't lose your
head
goalkeeping ability.
away from Norwich now?
it's such a weird one because he makes wonder saves. He makes like there's games where he makes wonder saves and then makes a stupid error,
Yeah, I
like
mean,
Sunday League error, and then
for a time, he was probably one of, if not the best player in our team
Mhm.
at one stage.
You could even argue last season one of the best keepers in the league. That's not me
He
being
was one of the best
biased.
keepers in the league last season. There's no argument about that in my head. So it's insane to see how quickly he's fallen off and how quickly things have kind of gone wrong. And you wonder whether it's coaching staff or something that's not quite right there, maybe.
But do you think a part of it is what have I got to do for a contract? Like, how did Long get one and not me? Because I think at that point he was not at the levels of last year,
Yeah,
but he was definitely a proper keeper. And I think has that Long contract affected him a fair bit? I think it
yeah,
has.
but you can look at it that way, or there's the other way you can look at it, which is Angus doesn't want a contract and his head is elsewhere already.
Oh
yeah,
yeah, 100%.
play for
We're
the
not
contract.
in the talks. We're not there. Uh, it just hurts because he's obviously got links with Norwich. He's been here
Yeah,
before. His
absolutely.
dad. And it just makes you think like, where's this come from? I thought there was no. No problem with Gunn's contract.
No, no, you wouldn't. He would have been, if this was last year, we're talking about Gunn, he would have been one of the first players you extend the contract of, no questions asked. Like,
Yeah,
there is
fair.
no way you don't extend his contract, whereas now it's a serious debate as to whether or not you actually bother.
If we don't, do you have any keepers in mind?
I mean, there's a lot of links with Tickle at Wigan, isn't there?
I
He's one
want
of the
him for the
ones that
name
always
alone, to
gets
be fair.
mentioned. He's one of the ones that always gets mentioned, promising young keeper.
Yeah,
Other than that, no, not really. I mean, the only other keeper we've been linked with was the Norwegian who's gone to Watford. I forget the name of the man.
Stelvik.
Selvik, that's the man. Yeah, who's gone to Watford. So obviously he's not coming. And I can't really think of anyone else that I would want in. Goalkeeper's such a hard position to replace as well, and that's the other thing about letting Gunn go on a free is how do you get a replacement in who's of similar quality?
It's obviously going to show how much. I think this goalkeeping situation is going to show how much the Asensios still want to put in. I think
Yeah,
if we go for someone like Tickle, it's like, oh yeah, we want to bring a keeper in, but not for an extortionate amount of money. But I think you look at situations for certain keepers at the minute, and the one that comes to my head straight away is Gavin Bazunu of Southampton.
yep.
Yeah,
Brought
good
in
shout.
Ramsdale for no reason at all. I thought Bazunu was a good keeper,
I don't
and
disagree with that.
if you offered me Bazunu, I'd probably shake your hand and take it right away.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, again, he would probably be a good option if you can get him out of Southampton. But
Even
it's
if it's a loan and loan to buy, we could definitely do
yeah.
that.
He was
But like,
class in
again,
my
how much
FM
does
side.
Southampton rate him at in terms of value? And you've got to think the other problem is Southampton probably go down this season,
And
so
Ramsdale will leave the club.
Ramsdale will not be staying in the Championship realistically.
He's a Premier League keeper. I know he's been a bit unlucky with Southampton in his time at Arsenal,
Well, he's been unlucky at every club he's been at, though, and he's been relegated with basically everyone.
I do feel bad for him. Obviously, when Ryer's obviously brilliant now, but when it first happened, I was like, why are they doing that? Ramsdale's class.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, I still think he's at least Premier League quality.
100%. I do agree with you.
The Southampton move really surprised me for him, actually. Truth be told.
Oh, I think we've had enough negativity, and I think it's time we move on to one of the only good things that happened from the game the other night,
Yeah,
and that is our Croatian. No, not Ante
our
Shir.
Croatian.
where's this going?
Are you about to give positive to Ante
Sorry,
Cernas?
sorry,
Are
sorry.
you?
Did he play?
I mean, Sinak. We can talk about him, but I don't think we should. Don't waste our breath on him.
I mean, there's a discussion to be had there, but it's not positive.
No. And I
I'll
want
be
a bit of
honest.
positivity. Our Czech winger? Is he Czech? I get confused all the time
Yeah,
with him.
he is. He's from the Czech Republic. Matej Jurasek. That's who you're on about, isn't
Yeah, honestly, my head's fried.
it? It's all good, man. Yeah, what did you want to say?
We've got a player there, 100%. I
Yeah, I
think
mean, promising glimpses, definitely.
generally the only good thing I think that came out of that game the other night.
I can think of a couple more, fortunately, but we'll
So
get
can
on
I.
to those.
I just think like the way how I did feel bad for him not coming on against Derby. Maybe looking at now, he could have changed that and we get 3 points in that game. We do not know.
Yeah, it's
But
difficult to say.
His runs
100%.
really reminded me of like Borja when he was first introduced. Just like cutting in everywhere, sprinting one end of the pitch to another. Yeah, there's a player there, and I'm hoping
100%.
that he starts. But we got on to
I think
that.
the thing I loved the most was when there was options covered, he still tried putting a ball in with that Trevella he did. And I
Yeah,
think if that's someone like Sianak on the wing, maybe Schwartau,
Yeah,
they'll just try and pass it back to the midfield. But he tried making some, which is a positive light for Norwich.
it's nice to see someone be so positive for us as well, because a lot of our attackers one of my biggest criticism of our wingers sometimes is the amount of times they don't try and take on a man or beat a man and just check back and pass.
yeah,
100%. And I think that's why Borja is doing what he's doing at times, because like maybe not so much now, but when he was first in that hot period where you'd think, oh yeah, the other wing has passed it back, Borja will, but then he just takes you on and scores.
Yeah, absolutely. And Borja, as we know, he does things that he can create a goal out of nothing. He's one of those players. But yeah, I mean, the other problem we've got at the minute is we're talking about Jurasek and how good he looks. But if you bring him in, which winger do you bring him in for? Because as I want to get onto, and we're talking about other positives, Lewis Dobbin looked fantastic again.
Yeah,
At right wing as well.
Yeah, playing on the wrong side, and he still looked better. And he's making himself a bit undroppable at the minute, I feel.
here's a question for you. Let's say Borja goes, yeah?
Yeah.
So I'll offer you this trade. Borja goes, you get Dobbin and Doyle permanently. You taking the deal?
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm taking that deal.
Oh,
I'm
no
taking the deal.
question.
I think if you hadn't included Doyle, my answer would have been different.
yeah, but I think as a Norwich fan, I fell in love with Doyle too quickly. Like,
Yeah, and truth be told, his performance against Preston, like I say, he spent the whole game trying to play balls over the top, and it wound me up in the end because it was so predictable by the end of it. But
100%.
his performances as a whole across his time at Norwich have been worthy of signing him by miles.
Yeah,
100%.
definitely.
And I think if you compare that, the last couple of loans we've had have been a bit hit or miss. The first one that comes to my mind is Isaac Hayden.
Oh God, fucking
Yeah.
hell!
I remember when that signing was done, I was like, oh, okay, I'm not angry with
I was
that.
well hyped when we signed
Yeah, I
Isaac
was
Hayden. I
like,
remember
okay.
being hyped. God, he was shit.
Sidney Van
He was
Hooijdonk.
really
Oh,
very
what a player.
bad.
What a player. One assist to Christian Fastnatch.
Yu Joe Huang.
I
Good
tell you what.
player, not a good
Yeah,
person.
that
I
goal
wouldn't
against
say good
Watford.
player.
The one that got versus Watford will live
I
long
mean,
in
yeah,
my
he
in my
scored
memory.
one incredible goal,
And then he got injured immediately, and then the
and then
players
he
got so
filmed someone without their consent.
scared.
I was about to
Anyway,
say, isn't he now joining Prison FC? And that's a different. That's a
he's
conversation we've
somewhere
got to
along
be having.
those lines, isn't he? So, yeah, we've loan signings traditionally for Norwich have been shocking.
Yeah.
Like, I can't name for a long time. I can't name a successful loan signing until Dobbin.
No,
Honestly, if you try and think back and think of that, well, it's Ollie Skip is the last one, realistically.
Yeah, I was thinking him, and what was that lad's name? The French CDM we had in the 1920 season.
Oh
He wasn't
God,
awful. I can't remember his name, but I thought he was decent.
French?
Was he French?
Do you mean Matthias Norman by any chance?
No, I don't mean Matthias Norman, but that was also a good loan.
Yeah,
Oh my god, I'm going to try and
French
find it now.
CDM.
Yeah, don't worry.
I'm
Just carry on,
completely
I'll try and
lost.
find it.
He's going to go do his research. Well, while he's doing that, shall we have a debate about Jakob Sorensen?
Yes.
debate is there? What debate is there? He's awful.
The debate is whether or not we should rip up his contract immediately, or if he should get anyone in the squad, given the strength that's coming back in.
I mean, he keeps the medical team in a job.
He does, yeah.
I don't know. I think most of them do at the minute.
He's providing
Yeah.
workplace employment. That is always good. Um, I mean, he might be a nice guy. I hope he's a nice guy. Like, I don't want anything bad to happen to him. I just think he should probably move on.
How
Yeah,
long has he been
but
at the
then
club
it's
now?
He's been
You know
there a
what?
number of
I'll
years,
do my
hasn't he?
research as well.
I want to say about 6 or 7 years.
I thought he joined the 2021 season.
Did he?
He joined.
I think it's 1920 he joined, you know.
Yeah, 2020 July
Yeah.
for 1.3 million.
Whoa. Hefty fee.
Actually, no, 1.1. I tell a lie.
Oh,
That's
bargain.
euros. So
Okay, I
Bargain.
have found the person I was on about.
Yep.
Ibrahim Amadou.
of
Oh, yeah.
course.
He had that
I
one game
remember
sent
this
back against
man.
Man City. So for me, good loan only because that Man City game.
Yeah, didn't he play centre back for us a bit as well?
Yeah, because we had quite a lot of injuries there, and he was at
So
centre back against Man City, so that counts for me.
I seem to remember him playing centre back against Man United when I went to watch, and Ronaldo tore him a new one. seem
But
to
yeah,
remember
I
that
don't
being
think he
the
was
case.
horrific. Like, obviously not to the levels of Doyle, Dobbin, Skip. Definitely not to them levels. But someone who wasn't
Decent loan
awful.
player. Someone worth the loan spot.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Yeah, but historically, there have been some shocking loans.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Like,
100%. Yeah.
I mean, we can go. Ironically, two players who've done very well since not being on loan at Norwich, but Marcus Edwards. You could go Patrick Roberts,
You could definitely put an argument for Harry Kane.
Patrick Bamford.
Let's
He was
stop this
crap
list,
on
please. I
loan.
thought we was trying to be positive.
No, but we're just going down memory lane now with the old loan signings.
Yeah, true, I guess.
It's fantastic. But anyway, if you want to be positive, we've got some segments that we can move on to. Our new segments that we're going to do every week. And this is a good way to sort of round out the podcast and get towards the end. But we're going to start off with what is hopefully going to be an iconic segment. And we're going to have to come up with a jingle for this at some point. But it is, of course, the one, the only Jeff Man Sausage Roll Review.
The jingle for this has to be amazing. It will come, I'm sure.
It soon come, soon come.
I was disappointed, which doesn't help raise the spirits at all. But
No.
it was burnt. There were so many problems. I will go on a rant about this, but Portsmouth do the exact same sausage rolls. They have bags. Why can't we have bags? It would help so much. My sausage roll went all over the person next to me. But it tasted good, and I was even happier because I found out that there was a secret entrance to yellows in the concourse of the Regency, which I then got chips. So I had chips and sausage roll, which was a perfect healthy meal. So I'm more than
That is
happy.
healthy nutrition.
Exactly.
Obviously top scran within the Norwich Stadium, or as always. Um, your spillage of sausage roll kind of reminds me of a little story that I should probably tell on this podcast. Where
Oh, go on.
I can't remember what game was it we were at. It was last season, and I'd like to, if the woman who I was sat behind is watching this game. I was up at Barclay, and if this was your hood, I'd like to apologise. But essentially, I went and got a steak pie at half time. Nice little bit of steak and gravy. Bit into it, and it was a bit hot, and I dropped a little bit. And I'll be honest, a chunk of steak covered in gravy went straight in this woman's hood.
Oh, God.
Um, So I'd like to profusely apologise, and then I spent the entire rest of the game. I don't actually remember the game, and it's probably because I spent so long trying to fish this little bit of steak out of this woman's hood before she found it, because I was so scared that I was going to get like shouted at.
Just some random man's behind me touching my
Yeah,
hood.
oi, what are you doing putting steak on my wife? Anyway, so yeah, it's one of them things, isn't it? But easily done. Ashton, do you have a food or drink story?
Uh, I have one.
Right.
Go on.
Quite recent, believe it or not.
Okay.
So St. Pauli this year, a little
Yeah.
home friendly fixture. Jonathan Rowe's last game, which I didn't realise at the time.
Yeah.
Oh, God, it
Uh,
was.
It bloody was as well.
yeah, just before
That's a good
kickoff,
point.
I was with my mother. I was like, should I go grab us a bottle of Coke each? £3 each, by the way. So that came out to £6 for some Coke.
That is expensive.
Diet Coke.
Diet Coke should never be more than like £2 max.
I'd even argue £1.50. But
Yeah, 150 is fair.
I've gone back to where we're sitting. I've gave my mum her Coke. I've got my Coke, and for some reason, on my walk back, I have not shaken this Coke up at all. I want to elaborate that already. So I've undone my lid, and this Coke explodes everywhere. Me, the lady in front of me, the two lads sitting to the left of me, and
Oh,
my
my
mum in
God.
front of me.
Well, yeah, to be fair, you don't want to be exploding on everyone around you and your mum, so
Yeah,
never
you
good.
definitely don't. Even if
No.
it is Diet Coke, you don't want nothing.
No, definitely not. No explosions here. So I think that's probably a good way to round out the food segment.
Definitely.
So we can we can move on now to another segment that we're going to get into, which is our Canary Guys Weekly Awards. Now, this is going to be a segment where we bring sort of our own awards into this, and we can do different things throughout the weeks. And I would like to start with a bit of a classic. If anyone is familiar with John Rogers, Big Grant Holt, as he was known on YouTube back in the day, John, if you're listening, please, please, please give me permission to use your old intro because the jingle is magnificent and I really, really want to use it. I want to bring this segment back. I want to make it a regularity. But it is time for our Canary Caller of the Week award. And this is going to go to, well, it could only be one person, really, couldn't it, lads?
What person?
It's Sully. It has to be Sully. If you were listening to Canary Call, unfortunately this week it was a bit of a short one because they appear to be rushing through the calls. But Sully was just take a listen for yourselves. It's just a incredible call of brilliant footballing insight and analysis.
Sully next. You think it was just wrong from start to finish? You talking about team selection, Sully? Or we'll redial you to Sully because we can't hear you there. You sound like you were on Mars or something there. I don't know what was going on. Let's read a few of your social media posts. Bring in Sully again now. Go on, Sully. Tell Cedric what you were saying. Hopefully we can hear you this time.
I thought the playing out of the back was poor today, and they just weren't hitting it up long enough, especially Angus Gunn.
It was weird, wasn't it, Sully? They kind of played a lot more long balls tonight. Did you agree?
No, they played it short too many times.
Unfortunately, I'm sat in the hospital yesterday. Got an hour wait, even though my appointment was 3:30, wasn't seen till 4:30. And I showed my mum this clip, and she turns around to me. Bear in mind, I've had enough waiting for this appointment, and she goes, "Stop! That person is right. They're onto something." No, they're not, Mum.
Oh my!
Yeah, they're definitely not onto something. They're definitely not onto something. Sully, you are not onto something, I'm afraid. But the good news is you do win our Canary Caller of the Week for your pure hilarity. So congratulations. Award will be in the post. No, it won't. We don't know your address. We don't have an award to give you. So it's just a title.
You're welcome.
Then next on, we move on to our Donkey of the Week. Now, this is the award for someone who has been the biggest idiot throughout the week. We've had some contenders. It could be a tweet that someone's posted. It could be something that one of the players or the manager has done. Anything at all.
It could be an actual donkey.
It could be a donkey. Yeah, we could just find a donkey in the sanctuary.
We did. We signed Jacob Sorensen.
Yeah, he's going to always be in the Donkey of the Week contention. However, I think this week there is only one man we can give it to again. It's proven to be a very, very simple awards because I think you lads will agree with me, and my nomination, and I'm hoping everyone agrees, has got to be Gavin Ward, the referee against Preston.
Yay!
There is no way.
Yeah. But can I give an honourable mention, please?
You can give an honourable mention. Go for it.
Obviously, Derby at home was quite a interesting game.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, we didn't play great, but we grinded out a result. Sargent with a lovely goal of him and Marcondes.
Mm-hmm.
And then 90th minute, the Donkey of the Week, Jack Stacey, thought he was entering a kickboxing.
Oh, that's good. That's a good suggestion, actually. So we'll leave the final decision in that case then down to Jeff, man. Can we please have your vote for Donkey of the Week? Is it going to be Jack Stacey or Gavin Ward?
I think it has to be Gavin Ward. That performance was unparalleled.
Yeah, I'm happy with that. I'm happy with that.
Fantastic. Well done, Gavin. Excellent
Well
work,
done, Gavin,
my friend.
mate.
You win the Donkey of the Ward.
Well played.
Donkey of the Ward, Donkey of the Week. There we go. We'll get there eventually. Magnificent work. I think that's the end of sort of the awards segment, and we can move on to discuss the next game, which is Hull.
Oh, God. Where do we start?
Well, I mean, Abu Kamara's back.
Yeah.
Guaranteed hat-trick.
Yeah, definitely scoring against us, isn't he? You know it's coming.
Yeah, I'm very worried for our midfield.
Yeah, I was going to say, because the other thing I did think we would mention is, because obviously we're now recording this on a Thursday, so the JHT press conference has happened. And we're aware of the injury news, which is that we've got fuck all midfielders.
Again,
Why is that every day this season, pretty much?
I feel like
Yeah,
they
it
came
is
back
definitely frustrating.
yesterday.
Yeah, it's not fun, is it? End of the day, but we'll cobble a midfield together out of hopes and dreams again. I'm sure.
I'll tell you what, though, I am interested to see if Elliot Miles does get an opportunity on Saturday.
Yeah, potentially. I mean, he's not been shy to introduce young players, and I mean that is one of the things that we have benefited from the most since JHT came in. So,
And that was definitely one of his main selling points, 100%.
yeah, absolutely. Like the amount of youth players he's developed through the system. I mean, realistically, Wagner or Smith in charge, Mahovo don't get a sniff.
Oh,
Fisher
not a
doesn't get a
chance.
sniff. None of them get anywhere near. So it's one of them. But yeah, it's not looking great in terms of the midfield. Attacking wise, we are back to pretty much strength at this point, which is the good news.
Hopefully we see a better Borja.
Yeah, we need a better Borja performance.
Please. That performance annoyed me, but I ain't going to get into that.
Yeah. Shall we do the team lineup predictions for each of us?
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah, I'm happy with that.
Yeah. Who would like to go first?
Go
I
on.
guess I can. I don't mind.
Yeah, go on, Ashton.
All right, so obviously in goal, Agnes Gunn.
Yeah.
hmm
However, I am not against a Reyes opportunity coming through from
Fair shout.
It's a fair
right
shout.
back.
I don't think it'll happen.
Fisher, centre halves Duffy and Doyle. Unless Duffy is suspended, which would not shock me. But we'll say Duffy and Doyle.
It'll be
Left
very
back,
Norwich for him to be suspended.
Mahavo. I love Mahavo.
Yeah.
I think a midfield three. I think our only midfield three of Wright, Slimani, and Schwartau.
Yeah, fair.
Sargent has to go up front based off these last couple of weeks. And then the wingers is where it's a bit about what you want. Do you want to chuck Eurosec in the deep end at Hull away? Not really, so I'm going to say Signs and Dobbin.
Really?
Yeah, even though I'm not angry with Eurosec start, it's just look how quick we rushed in. I can look at him now.
Hmm.
Yeah, good point.
I understand that. I will go next if you fancy.
Yep, go ahead.
I am going to say Gunn. And then obviously Fisher, Duffy, Doyle, Mahovo. That back four pretty much picks itself at the minute. It will be now if I'm doing this from a JHT prediction perspective, I might shock you. I reckon if I'm predicting what JHT is going to pick, it'll be Sorensen,
Oh,
Wright, and Slimane.
Donkey of the week next week is sorted.
Yeah. And then I think, same as you, Sarge up front, and then Borja and Dobbin on the wings, and he won't start Eurosec yet.
I'm gonna be the one person who hopes for Eurosec. Again, gun and goal. Fisher, he's been off form lately, but I still think you can't really put Stacey in after the Derby performance. And then Duffy and Doyle and Mahovo. I'd go a midfield of Slimani, Wright, and Schwartau, I think, because otherwise there's no creativity in there.
Yeah,
And then front three: Sargent, Jurasek, and Dobbin.
yeah. I like that team. I'm going off a basis of what JHT will pick.
Yeah,
I
mine's more fantasy.
personally, Sorensen doesn't get near, but
To be
I'm
fair,
just
if we put them together, if we saw Wright, Sorensen, and Schwartau, we've definitely covered all them aspects of. We've got cover
yeah.
there. We've got creativity.
I
Yeah,
just
good
think he
point.
Obviously,
definitely starts Slimane though.
yeah, and I'm happy with that. I do rate Slimani. Maybe not a powerful performance in the week, but did anyone?
No.
No, but he wasn't the worst.
No, 100%. I think, and there's definitely
He's
the
been
players.
better
I
than
think
that.
him and Nunes has some of the best link-up I've seen in this club from a midfield perspective.
Yeah, that's fair enough. What are we saying score prediction wise?
Thank God you asked me this today and not yesterday.
It would have been a lot worse yesterday.
I'm going to say a little cheeky 1-0 win, Sargent to score.
Fair enough.
Considering Hull's horrid home form, 1-0 Hull.
Fair enough. That's a bit pessimistic.
We're Norwich fans. It's our job.
Yeah, I know, but lighten up. Come on, it's all right. I'm gonna back the boys. I'm gonna go 3-1.
Jesus.
3-1 to the Norwich boys, and
Who
that is.
scores?
I am a deluded positive Norwich fan. I
Yeah, but
apologise in advance.
the players oversaw a performance like that, especially after this last couple.
Exactly. I think we get a bit of a response. Well, I hope.
Let's hope so.
It's
And I'll
more a
tell you
hope
what,
than a thought, but
if I could pick one player to get him out of the match, I hope Wright does, because I genuinely feel so sorry for him after what he had to go through.
I'd like him to be have a really good game if he does play.
Because he did not deserve to go through that.
And he played
I
the full
know
90,
that's
didn't
just
he?
football, but it's just at 19 years of age, like, come on.
Yeah. Absolutely. Right. I think that is going to pretty much cover everything. Time for just a couple of last little bits of admin, which obviously is the competition that we will be running. So this will be announced across the coming weeks how you can win it, but there will be, and I'll send a picture to you to overlay on the screen. There will be a lovely Canary jester hat that is out of my personal collection. It was worn during the promotion parade. I can show you pictures of me very drunk, and it will be being given away to one of you lovely lot who listens to the podcast. So yeah, obviously let us know how you're feeling, and we will announce the details of how that is going to be given away across the next couple of weeks of podcasts. Obviously, what we'd like as much promotion as possible. If you could tweet, if you've listened to the podcast with hashtag the Canary guys, all three of us will retweet any tweets that we do get. And we would appreciate all the support massively. But I think that is pretty much it.
Yeah.
One question about the competition:
Yes.
has it been washed, or does it have your sweat? Because I think that's going to increase.
I mean, at the minute, it is unwashed. However,
Leave it like that.
it can be washed on the winner's request.
Yeah, good
Should
plan.
we
But
should we leave it like that? You can personalise your hat. Do you want some drunken Norwich promotion parade sweat, or do you want it thoroughly deep cleaned?
what a
Look,
prize!
can I also say one thing? We don't have to put this in, but I want to see, responding to the podcast, everyone's worst personalised shirt. Like, what player did you get on the back of the
Yes.
shirt?
No, we're putting that in.
And I'll tell you what, the best one can win a Norwich City Lego shirt set, which is unopened.
That's a very good
What a
prize. Yeah.
prize!
So get your use the hashtag Canary guys. We'll obviously retweet, but obviously if you reply with your worst player name or whatever personalisation you may have on a shirt, we will pick the best one and we'll announce it in next week's pod.
I feel like I had to give away something now, so it's going to be a very small thing. But if you want a Jeffman98 sticker, 1 of 12, then
Limited edition.
limited edition, very limited edition. Just tell me your favourite place to eat a sausage roll.
That's an excellent prize. Fantastic stuff, lads. I think that pretty much covers it.
Yeah, I'd say
Brilliant.
so.
Brilliant stuff. Right, we'll see
Or
you all
maybe one
next week.
question. One question. I think we
Oh,
need to touch on this. Obviously, we are in February.
yep.
Out of 10, what we rating the January transfer window?
Oh God, you've pulled us right back onto it.
Yeah, we had to. We had a proper discussion on
We've
this.
closed everything out.
We were so
No,
close,
but
and then there was 20 minutes of added time on the board.
Oh,
yeah,
you
I
could call
know.
me time wasting
We're
like
90
Preston.
plus 10 currently. Like, but it's all good. No, we'll go for the January transfer window. We'll do a bit of January transfer window talk before we close out. That's fine. I am going to give it a 9. personally. I think the only thing we lacked was a backup striker.
Yep,
If we'd have had that, it's a 10 out of 10 window. There's no debate for me.
exactly the same for me, I think.
I'd say just maybe a bit under with an 8. I just think maybe not so much the window itself, but the way we handle business. Very last minute, I wasn't a massive fan of that.
But that makes it fun.
Yeah, I was
It
going
does
to say,
make
I
it
love
fun,
that.
but
I love having a deadline day where we're actually staying up for something. It was magnificent.
it was good. But like, we obviously all rate Napa based off the summer and this window, but I need a bit of structure, Napa. Don't make me, because when I thought we weren't getting Jacob Wright,
No. As long as we get the players in, Napa, do all the chaos you want. I fucking love it. Like, literally, as long as the players get over the line, like, give me chaos. I thrive off it. Totally.
And by the way, can I just mention that I got no circused? Like, the no circus is
Oh,
back.
yeah, you did. I totally forgot about
I
that.
got quote tweeted by Paddy Davitt, and then Mike Atanasio replies asking what the hell is going on.
Oh, it's like a crossover of Norwich Twitter's great and good.
It was just phenomenal. That 10 minutes, I was living in dream world. He now follows me. Mike Atanasio follows me. So if you're listening, Mike, come on the pod,
get on the
please.
pod.
You
Yeah, I
are
was going to
invited.
say, we're going to have, hopefully, we're hoping to have a lot of guests across the next few weeks. There are talks ongoing. We won't spoil anything, but that is the plan.
And if you have any suggestions for guests, please leave them in the comments.
Again, yeah, leave them in the comments, tweet them to us. We'll happily listen to any feedback, any responses that you want to give us. So,
Whether it's Puppet Man or whether it's
But
Darren
please be
Huckabee.
realistic. Like,
Norfolk
I'm not
Dad.
being funny with you. I don't see Messi or Ronaldo getting on this podcast anytime soon. Can I have one more question, then we'll end the pod?
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, obviously, Johannes is known for his youngsters. So here is my question, boys. Who do you think is going to win Norwich City Young Player of the Season?
Callum Fisher.
Got to be Mahovo, right? It's a
I think
late
Fisher.
call.
I think on longevity of the season, it's Fisher.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the fullback lads, and
It'll be one of them too.
I think I'll back Fisher, but Mahovo to win it next year.
Yeah. What counts as young player these days?
I say under 22 with Johannes. Maybe
That's half
different
our
with other
squad, isn't
managers.
it?
Oh no! I'll tell you what, we forgot someone.
Callum Doyle is technically a young player.
I was going to say Oscar Schwartau, no?
Oh, there's so many.
Yeah,
Our
this is what
average
I mean. It's
squad
a
age
great
is about
question.
6.
So you can have Fisher and Mahavo. Give me Oscar Schwartau. What a player!
Fair enough. Yeah, no bother. Lovely. I think that ends it there.
I'm happy with that.
Brilliant stuff. Right, I'll see you lads next week.
See you lads next week.
See you. Thank you for watching.
Thank you for watching. Thanks for all
Thank
the
you for
support.
watching.